So I think it's interesting, man, how people can post misleading videos and misleading information. And I thought this video was interesting. It caught my attention on X, formerly known as Twitter. This person posted a group of blacks go and rob a house. An 11-year-old boy defends his home by shooting the non-white trespassers. The non-white then says the 11-year-old boy owes him for medical bills. Can you believe the audacity of these non-whites? And I'm like, man, that's crazy if this is true. So what I did was I did a little digging, and I wanted to see if there was any validity to this post that was recently posted on X. I think it was this week, maybe a day or two ago it was posted. But let's go ahead and go to the video that I am talking about, and then we'll go to the video that debunks their claim.
An 11-year-old boy fired 12 shots at home intruders and injured him, but now the suspects say he owes them for medical expenses. This incident happened in a typical neighborhood. An 11-year-old boy named Chris was at home alone with his 4-year-old sister. Two strangers quietly approached their house. Chris saw through the front door security camera that these men had been lurking around their home multiple times before. Because his mother was not at home, Chris warned his younger sister to stay quiet and not open the door. Despite Chris clearly warning the suspects through the closed door that he was armed, the two men ignored him. Instead, they began trying to break down the front door. Perhaps believing only two children were inside, they felt confident enough to keep going. After repeatedly hitting the door, they eventually forced their way into the home. Feeling he had no other option, Chris opened fire. He fired 12 shots, one of which struck one of the intruders in the leg. The gunshots alerted neighbors, who immediately called 911. Emergency services arrived quickly, and the injured suspect was taken to the hospital for treatment. Chris's mother later stated she actually recognized one of the intruders. He had robbed their house before, but this time he wasn't so lucky. Shockingly, the injured suspect is now demanding Chris's family pay for his medical bills, and he's insisting the boy be held accountable. Chris now faces accusations of using excessive force, despite firmly maintaining he acted purely in self-defense. What do you think about this situation? If you were in Chris's position, what would you have done? Please share your thoughts in the comments below.
So the video that you just watched is false and misleading, and it uses a lot of videos that paints a picture. It paints a picture as if the intruders were black. It paints a picture as if this person or this family lived in the inner city, so on and so forth, and none of that is true. It looks like you'll see the actual video, which is many years old. These people lived in a rural area, and from what I understand, if I read it correctly, the intruder was actually a white gentleman. It was not a black gentleman. So take a look here, man, at the actual video of the young man being interviewed by I guess the local news.
I told him I was gonna kill him all that with a gun if he didn't get out of my house.
11-year-old Chris Gaither was home alone Wednesday morning when he heard a noise. Someone had broken into his house. Scared, Chris grabbed a 9mm handgun.
When he was coming downstairs and told me he was gonna kill me and F you all that.
The intruder made it out the front door with a hamper in hand. That's when Chris started firing off bullets. As the intruder was to jump this fence, Chris's 12th and final shot hit the bad guy in the leg.
I shot through a hamper that he was carrying, and it was a full metal jacket bullet. I went straight through the back and hit him in his leg. And he started crying like a little baby.
A baby that learned his lesson.
When I pulled the gun out on him, I guess he didn't think it was a real gun because he didn't worry about it. He just kept on walking.
The police have not released the name of the suspect, but Chris's mother says this man has robbed their house before. They don't know him personally. Chris credits his stepdad for his shooting skills.
Yeah, I play zombies for target practice.
Turns out there's more than a basset hound on guard.
I hope you learned a lesson from coming to this house trying to steal stuff.
Said, I hope you learned a lesson. So it looks like it's the incident is from 2016 in Talladega, Alabama. where 11-year-old Chris Gaither shot a suspected home intruder in the leg with a 9mm handgun. The intruder had threatened to kill him, and Chris fired 12 shots, one hitting the man as he fled with a stolen laundry hamper. There's no definitive record in the available sources indicating that the intruder, who was injured but survived, explicitly requested that Chris Gaither's family pay his medical bills, so that's also a lie. The sources focus primarily on the incident itself, the boy's actions in a legal context, such as Alabama's stand your ground law, which justified the use of deadly force in self-defense. No follow-up reports mention any claims or lawsuits by the intruder or his family seeking compensation for medical expenses. Given the lack of evidence, it's reasonable to conclude that no such request was publicly documented. Intruders in similar cases rarely pursue legal action due to their own criminal liability, which could complicate or discredit their claims. So you have to be careful on the videos that you actually believe. Definitely do your due diligence. And with me being part of the ape community and an investor of AMC and GME and HYMC, believe me, doing your due diligence is important, because there's plenty of people out there that will spread FUD. They'll lie and they'll tell you whatever, and there's going to be a group of people that's going to believe whatever is posted. Do your research, do your own due diligence. Make sure you follow up on things that look suspicious, or things that don't even look suspicious. I thought this was an interesting post. I looked into it, and it was all fabricated, the initial post that I showed you. So do your homework, baby.